So, after this small detour, let us have a chat about the strength of linear association between two variables. That is overly technical. What I want to do is talk about this correlation coefficient. This is a very popular measure for how well points follow a trend line in a scatter plot. It was designed by Carl Pearson already more than 100 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of techniques that we use are from an ancient past, but they have withstood the test of time reasonably well, especially a thing like a correlation coefficient. How does it generally behave? Do you know, for example, between what values this correlation coefficient falls? What is its range? Sure. When I ask a question, you can just answer. Yeah.
Between 0 and 1.
Between 0 and 1, yes. And also no at the same time.
0 and -1?
It can also be negative, yes. So then the range is between -1 and +1, yes. And so this is how you can imagine it. These are the extreme scenarios. If you have a scatter plot like the one on the left, then you have what is known as a perfect positive association. In our current example, more musicians means more orders. There's just this fixed relationship like this. You will always see that when one variable increases, so too does the other. Seems a bit unrealistic in most real life situations, but this is as high as the correlation coefficient could get. On the other side of the spectrum, we have a perfect negative association, where more music or louder music or whatever it is that more musicians do actually distract the cooks. And then there's the possibility of no trend at all in the graph. You will then see that the correlation coefficient ends up being exactly 0. That's just the general behavior. Realistic correlation coefficients tend to be somewhere in between these extremes. But it's good to notice then that the correlation is a standardized measure. It always falls between these boundaries. It's a Z-score, in fact, as we're also about to discover. A kind of Z-score. That's what makes it so popular, because you can always use it and it's easy to communicate no matter what you measured originally.